Well, Alex, welcome back to Goldington Road. How excited are you to be back here at Bedford Blues?
Yeah, really excited. I think obviously I played a few games a few years ago. Yeah, really good club in terms of especially in the champ. The support level is probably the best in the league, really. And know quite a few boys there, and I'm really looking forward to getting stuck in.
Yeah, 4 games you played here on a short spell. I think it was 3 games early on, then 1 in the January of the 2019-20 season. What did you learn about Bedford Blues that maybe excited you about coming back in those 4 games?
I mean, I've played against Bedford a lot in my career, and they're always not afraid to chuck it around, which I think is well known. Obviously, I don't think those 4 games the weather was too great, so maybe we struggled to chuck it around. But that's something that's exciting, and look, I've always had fond memories of going there, playing against them, and obviously a few games there. So look, it's a great club, and one I'm thoroughly going to chuck myself into and see where we can get to.
Yeah, is it a brand of rugby that excites you moving forward?
Yeah, I think you play, as a young kid, you start rugby you want to chuck the ball around. I think the professional games maybe lost that a bit lately, in the way that that it's very structured and controlled. But I think Bedford probably got it right in terms of, look, what do you play rugby for? To enjoy it with your mates and chuck the ball around. So obviously it's doing the right thing at the right time, but I think it's something I'm looking forward to doing, hopefully, having some running rugby.
Yeah, we were speaking off camera just a moment ago, and we were talking about the chances that you'll have to look at maybe a career outside of rugby as well. I guess that was a major factor in choosing to come to Bedford as well.
Yeah, I think as I said, we spoke about off air that I've been in a professional environment since I left school, so over 10 years now. And I'm at a stage where I want to look at other things, which is not going to take away from how much I'll put into the rugby still, because I still love the game and I want to contribute. But everyone comes to the point where you need to start looking, and it's something that excited me in terms of the coaching side, not just rugby but all sport, really. So looking to try and chuck myself into that as well. And then hopefully it'll even enjoy rugby even more, because you've got other distractions, you've got other things going on. So it's an exciting time, and I'm looking forward to it.
Talking about that coaching element, it's likely that we're going to have a Northampton scrum half, a young kid with us as well. It could be Connor Tupai, we don't know yet. But do you see yourself in a leadership role next season? Not maybe just even in your position, but for the whole of the back line?
I mean, that's maybe for the coach and the team to decide. But I'm sure I like being involved in whatever's going on in terms of rugby, and especially as a scrum half, you're almost naturally pushed upon you anyway, because you normally the chirps you on, and you've got to make the decisions on the field anyway. So yeah, that's something I'm looking forward to. My time at Sarries, I did miss that, being involved in a leadership side. So yeah, definitely it's something I'll look to try and get involved in, and hopefully the experience that I've gained I can pass on to whoever and help the team in best way I can.
Yeah, you'll have a couple of the backs who have still been here from your short loan spell. How much is that going to help that you've at least got a couple of familiar faces in the dressing room?
Yeah, I mean, it's always nice to know people when you go. Obviously, I know Rich Lane for quite a few years. I think we were in the Northampton Academy together. So we've been doing battle for years. I know, all the guys that are sort of still there. Jordan on the job fair as well, another Saints guy. So yeah, it always helps. And no, I'm looking forward to getting the band back together.
Yeah, you're going to be one of the more experienced championship players actually in the Blues squad. I think it's 103 championship games you've played so far. What have you learned about the second tier that you feel you can bring to the Blues next season?
But yeah, I didn't realise it was 103. But yeah, look, obviously I played 4 years at Pirates, and then obviously everyone knows, well documented, what Sarri's been through this year. So yeah, probably have a fair bit of experience in the league. And look, I think, you know, again, it's getting widely publicised at the moment how probably undervalued it is. I can't speak highly enough of it. I think it's a great breeding ground for young players to just go and play rugby and learn. I mean, it's all well and good, you know, being at these big clubs and playing 4 games a season. I mean, it's not going to make you a better rugby player. So I think, sorry, it's my phone. I think that I think it's a brilliant league, and you know, it's well documented again that it's tough for the forwards. I think it's tough for backs, you know, especially as half backs. You learn. I think I've learned to control games a lot more because at the end of the day, it's a result driven business. So you know, that comes into it, and yeah, I think it's a great league, and I'm really looking forward to getting stuck into it.
Yeah, we've spoken about the 4 games that you played for Bedford in your short spell a couple of seasons ago. If supporters weren't at those 4 games and hadn't watched the highlights, what type of scrum half do you see yourself as?
Oh, good question. I think probably in my younger days, I was probably pretty chirpsy and probably quite annoying. I probably chilled out a bit more. No, I probably see myself, you know, controlling. I like to control the game and try and implement a kicking game into it when applicable. So yeah, probably more the controlling sort of type. You know, I probably don't have all the fancy runs in me anymore, but yeah, just try and bring others into the game really. More bringing rather than an assist than a 50-minute try, to be honest, because I get tired anyway. So yeah, that's in a short answer what I reckon I bring.
Let's look through your career a little bit. Start in the Northampton Saints Academy with one of our Blues legends, I guess, Lee Dixon. I mean, I guess how much of a learning stone was that to be with him? I think you were in the environment when they win the Premiership and the Challenge Cup. I guess it must have been great to learn from someone with so much experience, both at club and international level.
Yeah, obviously, yeah, me and Dicko get on really well. Obviously, I still speak to him now regularly. And actually, he was quite a big decision in you know, signing for Bedford again. Obviously, he did it. He really enjoyed it. But yeah, look, when I was coming through the academy, you know, young 18-year-old, he, to be fair to him, took me under his wing a bit. You know, being scrum halves, and we did a lot of work together. And again, you know, I can't thank him enough for that. You know, what he taught me, and I learned from him. And look, he was a brilliant professional and a brilliant player, but also a top bloke. So we got on really well. We still get on really well. So yeah, look, I learned a lot from him, and I know he's doing really well at Barnet Castle School now. So yeah, no, top man.
And to those experiences, when you're around the environment, I think you're a travelling substitute for the Prem final. I'm not 100% sure on that, but you were definitely around the environment. I've seen pictures of you with the trophy and things like that. So when you're around those sort of environments, it's not about hunger for winning trophies, but success and all that kind of stuff. It's breeded within you, I guess, from a young age that you were around that environment where they were winning everything. Yeah,
definitely. Yeah, I was when I was at Northampton, it was a time where we were regularly in Premiership semi-finals. We obviously won the Prem. We won the Challenge Cup. We got played in a LV semi-finals, Exeter away. So it was definitely a place where they had the winner's mentality. And to be fair, it's similar to Saracens. Obviously, everyone knows, you know, they're winning culture, but until you're in it, you don't probably understand how much it rubs off on you. You know, they go, you know, both Northampton then and Sarries now are very similar in terms of what they almost instilled in you in terms of you win at all costs, and hopefully, I've still got probably a bit of that in me, and bring that to Bedford.
Yeah, there are a couple of dual reg spells. I think it's Moseley and a couple of other clubs as well. But then you make the decision to go to Cornish Pirates in the summer of 2015, I think. Bit of an odd move, I guess, in terms of how far away it was. But can you just talk us through what your thought process was going down to the Menai?
Yeah, so I, as I say, was at Northampton and had an option to stay, but I felt that, look, I just love playing. I just want to play rugby. I mean, I found that the opportunities were getting limited, and to be honest, I wanted to play. And I know probably Cornish Pirates was not the closest club, but what it did give me was a chance just to fully chuck myself into rugby. And because of the location, there's no distractions, and I know there was a lot of eyebrows raised for me going down there, but still probably the best decision I ever made. I made genuinely friends for life. I played 100 and odd games in 4 years, which I'd never have got if I stayed. And what, I know everyone would say it's a step back, but for me, it was a step forward. I felt I got a rugby player, I got a better understanding of the game. And, as I said before, you only learn by playing. And Gav Carroll and Alan Paver, the coaches, were brilliant. Obviously, Gav was a former scrum half, so we did a lot of work, and I think I left a better player and a better person. And I genuinely love my time down there. I've still got really good mates down there. So in a short spell, that the reason I went down was to play, and I got that. And a byproduct was I made brilliant friends and felt like I came away better rugby player as well.
Yeah, you weren't too far off in your guess. There are 104 appearances at Cornish Pirates in the 4 years, which averages out at 26 a game. I mean, that proves how much of a ever-present you were. And I think you got Player of the Year in 2017-18 as well. Yeah.
I mean, touch wood, I sort of stayed relatively fit throughout my time, which helped. And again, I mentioned Gav, like, he put his trust in me for most of that time, and hopefully I repaid him. And then player's player, that was obviously nice. Everyone wants that. That's the special one when your peers appreciate what you're trying to do. So that was nice. And really fun memories down there.
Yeah, and Bedford versus Cornish Pirates is always a classic. I can think of 54-46 as a scoreline. 40-40 draw. I guess actually, although you were playing for Cornish Pirates, you did think, hang on a minute, there is another side that play quite attacking rugby, and actually this is a really good game, this fixture.
Yeah, no, I think I actually remember that 54-46, whatever, is quite well. I'm pretty sure I was playing in it, so I always remember, there's always going to be a high score line especially when Bedford play and Pirates, when I was there, played. So there's always good games to be involved in. But yeah, it's probably two contrasting styles of play, but it can show rugby, you can score points, in a lot of different ways. So it's just about executing, doing it well, and maybe tightening up the defences.
Yeah, but how much do players remember things like that? Do you, in your mind, when you look at the fixture, you think Bedford's always going to be a tough game, it's going to be a high-scoring game? Do those things actually stick in your mind over a long period of time, or does it just fade off?
No, it definitely does. I think, especially when you play a team, a lot in terms of, when I was at Pirates, we were obviously going to play Bedford at least twice a year. So, you got used to how they were going to play, and I can't remember too many games, unless it was a horrible day at the Menai, that there wasn't a lot of tries scored, to be honest. So you always knew you had to sort of, I remember thinking we used to have to try and tighten up our defence, and then after 30 minutes it was like, right, who can outscore who here? So no, it was always fun memories, and that's good fun to play in, isn't it, really? That's that's what you want to do, and that's what people ultimately want to watch as well. A lot of tries going in, so no, it was always good fun.
And your spell at the Menai clearly worked, because you get the gig at Saracens, and not just a little club, they're one of the biggest clubs in the world, I guess. Being around the environment in the past 24 months, I bet it must have been interesting. And I suppose you learned more things than not, despite they didn't win the Premiership, didn't win the Champions Cup when you were there, all those sort of what you would consider the high points of being at Saracens. But actually, you probably learned a lot more being around the environment at this time.
Yeah, I mean, again, it's openly out there what's happened at Saracens. Obviously, I arrived, and again, I love Pirates. It was an opportunity I couldn't turn down. Obviously, being from near this way anyway, being down there for 4 years, the opportunity to come back for me and my girlfriend was important. So, I mean, it couldn't have, there probably wasn't a better club to go to. Obviously, I arrived and we were Premiership European champions. And, all for 4 or 5 months, it was all good, and, back on normal, winning most weeks. And then obviously, the well documented points, then relegation. But I think, the one thing that sticks out was when we got told we're getting minus 35 points. And I've never seen, most teams would have been like, we're done, we're relegated. But genuinely, it was the strangest thing in terms of we're in the meeting and everyone was like, we'll be right, we'll still survive that. And we went down to Gloucester, and if anyone knows, the Shed's probably not the friendliest of places. And we genuinely went down with like a siege mentality, and we turned them over. I think we got 5 points, and we were like, sweet, they almost got excited about the challenge, like, okay, well, and I think we still would have stayed up if we hadn't got the additional points. So that just, in a short thing, sums up the mentality of the place. And it's incredible, really, obviously, what they went through, being relegated and all those international boys staying. It just shows how, especially if you've come through that club, that it means a lot to people, and they're genuinely good people. And hopefully that sort of been instilled in me a bit now, and I can try and bring that to Bedford.
Yeah, it gave you a chance for your Premiership debut as well at Saracens in the early parts, and played a couple of the games in the Championship as well. I guess that winning mentality was why they've ended as Championship champions again. Yeah,
no, well, I made my Premiership debut at Northampton, but obviously it'd been a while since obviously Pirates have played in the Premiership, so it was nice to get back into that. And that spell was like good. Obviously there was obviously going to be a lot of rotation because we were ultimately relegated, so the game didn't matter too much. But I think we won a lot more than we lost, which again shows the mentality of the place. And then obviously the Championship, obviously speaking of Pirates, got off to a bit of a rocky start. But ultimately, looking back, I think it was probably the best thing that could have happened, because a lot of those boys hadn't played in that league, and they're good players. Like everyone, if you've not played in it, you probably underestimate how good some of these players are. So, and then obviously, we kicked on from there, and what's done is done now, and they're back in where they deserve to be with. So no, all good.
Was it an interesting one for you? Maybe, I don't want to say you're not one of the senior figures, because your career speaks for itself. When you've got Owen Farrell and Itoje and all them in the dressing room, done so much internationally, did you actually have to become a leader of them for the Championship to prepare them for the second tier because you had so much experience of it?
No, it's definitely right to say I wasn't, there's leaders in, so we say, my world, and then there's, these England boys who are, they're 5 or 6 of them are on Lions tour, the best players in the world. So I'm never, they took care of the rugby side, there's no doubt about that. But yeah, definitely, I remember Mark McCall coming up to me, and I actually had to do a presentation to the squad, because probably out of everyone there, I probably had the most Championship experience, and just to try and tell everyone what was coming, what to expect. And I probably didn't do a very good job because we lost the first game, but ultimately, just trying to tell everyone, this isn't going to be a walk in the park, because you know, anyone, you know, if you've been in the champ for a while, you're never going to get a chance to play Maro and Faz again. So it's going to be a David and Goliath sort of thing, and everyone wants to turn you over. And you know, a lot of teams really did test us, but ultimately the quality, you know, with Faz and Maro and Mako and Billy, you know, it told in the end, and we got the job done. So no, it was a good experience.
Yeah, and you come to Bedford, I guess, as a real well-rounded character. I guess you've learned different things at different points. What's the learning strategy at Bedford?
Well, yeah, I mean, hopefully I've you know, come as a well-rounded character. Hopefully the boys and the supporters see that. And look, I've just got to, you know, I'm not going to try and bring what I think is right or wrong. You know, that's, you know, I'll buy into the systems and buy into what we're trying to do, and just try and help it and implement what I can on the way.
Yeah, I'll always ask the same questions in these kind of, I'll always ask the same last question in interviews like this. Do you have a special message for the supporters here at Bedford ahead of the 2021-22 championship campaign?
No, look, I hope everyone's safe and well, first and foremost. Obviously, it's a crazy couple of years, isn't it? And look, no, I'm really looking forward to it. Hopefully we get full crowds back in as soon as possible. Fingers crossed it's going the right way. And I look forward to, you know, hopefully sharing a pint with some supporters and speaking to people, and hope I can produce on the field for you.